Hello everyone, this is Mainville here, and this video is the quick start guide on how to use the Early Contact Initiative seasonal plan template. For the long version where we go into full details, check out the webinar. So this is the seasonal plan template. At the top left here, you have the recommendations from the long-term development model that we're trying to follow when designing our seasonal plan for the age group that we coach. In this case, we're talking about Rally Ball 6v6 girls. So this first part here is your calendar. You will see we have all of the weeks of our season up here. We have them numbered, and we have each week in this calendar, and the date that's in here is the Monday of the week. All right. Below this, we have our main competitions and events. So for example, this event here, scheduled for the week of November 8th, means that it's probably going to happen either on the 13th or 14th of November. Because again, this date here is the Monday of the week. So if a tournament is scheduled for this week, it's at the end of that week. Very important to know for when we are going to plan our activities. So the way to use this calendar is very simple. You pick the week you're in. For example, we are in week 4. If I highlight this column and I go all the way down, I can see everything pertaining to that week of training in my plan. So if I go step by step, I'm going to start with the day of the week and the training that we're going to do. So this section here from Monday to Friday is where you would schedule and input the training time that you are getting, technical and tactical training, in the gym. All right, so here we have 1.5 hours on Monday, 1.5 hours on Wednesday. Now the rest of the time, because we have 2 times 2 hours, is going to be divided between weekday competition hours, so scrimmage, and probably 6-on-6 playtime we're going to do during practice, and physical training that we're going to do on the Monday here. And we know that because of the color here, the color code. So blue for Monday, orange for Wednesday. So when I go down here, I know exactly the amount of time I'm going to be spending on each component at practice that week. The section here, other, is where you would put anything else you want to do. So it's not physical training or actual tactical, technical training. So it could be team building, that kind of stuff. You would put these activities here to plan your season. So once you have all of your season planned this way, what happens is you go down. So we're going to take our week again. And in this second section here, we have the priority skills that we are going to work on each week and at each session. So again, blue is day 1. In our case, it was the Monday. Orange is day 2, so Wednesday. And if I go down here, I see that for the week of October 25th, on my first practice of the week, I'm going to be working on passing as a priority. Doesn't mean I'm going to do, nothing else, but I know that the theme of my practice is going to be passing. So it really helps me design a practice easily because I know this is going to be the main skill, so I can plan all my drills around that skill. And I know that for the second practice in my week, the priority is going to be serving. So by doing that for every week in the season, I get to really plot for the entire season how much time I'm going to spend on each skill. Now, if we go down, we get to the physical skills priority for the week. So again, there are a few physical abilities that we want to work on with our athletes, and those are listed here in this table. And obviously, we're not going to have time to address all of them each week. So we have to prioritize some. And so this calendar here is going to tell me what skill I'm going to work on each week. So when we have our physical training portion of training, I know that for that week, we're going to be working on strength endurance. And I would have a plan with some exercises for that specific skill that I would implement for that day. Now, this table here tells us that we're going to work on speed max every week and at every practice. And we're going to do this at least 5 minutes at the end of warm-up. So I know that regardless of when I am in my season, this is going to be part of my practice. Now I'm going to keep going down, and then I'm going to see what system and tactical objectives I'm working on depending on where I am in the season. Because I selected this week 4, so week of October 25th, while I look and I see exactly what I'm working on in order to prepare for my next event. So I know here, for example, that we're working on setter in position 3 as part of our triple ball offensive system. I know that in defense, we're actually working on a 6 front. So if I'm working on defense, I'm doing any type of gameplay that day, this is the type of defense that we're going to play and that I'm going to teach my players. And when we do serve receive, we will do it with our 5-player W formation. Okay, so this table here really allows you to kind of know where you're at in the season. And this table is great because it allows you to plan for the progression of your tactics over the course of the season. So you know there's enough time for you to work on everything. Now, the last table here about psychological skills, this one doesn't have a calendar just because those skills are not necessarily skills that we're working on in a specific session just for 1 hour. Let's talk about communication, for example. Those are skills we're going to want to develop in our athletes at all time, and they require ongoing attention from coaches. And so what we do in this table, instead of scheduling little activities, what we do is we actually list the skills that we want to develop. We're going to describe what that means to us as coaches, and then we're going to write down what our plan is to address those skills. And you'll see here, if I just take, for example, self-awareness as a skill, where my plan to develop that as a coach is going to be to regularly ask athletes about how they feel physically and mentally, whether it's at the beginning of practice, during practice, or after practice. And doing that regularly will actually help athletes develop that skill of looking within, perceiving how they feel and being able to express that and seeing how that impacts perhaps how they're training or how they're playing. Finally, the last section is our other activities, skill or objectives. So anything else you would like to add and plot and start planning for your entire season, we actually provide you with a table to do that. So this is obviously editable if you go down to the editable plan tab, because obviously the seasonal plan template that's here, this one has the exact same information, but this one you can't edit. And that's because we know that once you start editing this version of the plan, well, you may want to go back to see how the original one was scheduled so that you can make adjustments to your own plan. So this is a very quick overview of how this works. Again, if you want to find out more, check out the webinar that we're going to do about this seasonal plan, where we are going to go into the full detail and explain how to really fully use this great tool that is the seasonal plan. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.